Parasocial interactions and relationships have been a key element of children's programming from the very beginning. Hosted by Big Brother Bob Emery, the classic 1950s television show program Small Fry Club opened with Emery singing the program's theme song on his ukulele while looking at the television camera and speaking directly to his audience. From coast to coast, local stations featured live shows for children with a host to direct the action and talk to the viewing audience directly through the camera, inviting the audience to play along. Two early program formats integrating PSI with the host were even franchised: Romper Room and the Bozo the Clown. Developed by Bert and Nancy Claster, Romper Room created a televised kindergarten classroom complete with a teacher who interacted directly with the viewing audience. One element of the show was the magic mirror, in which the host teacher would hold an empty hand mirror frame in front of her face and address the camera. She would say things like, "I see Mary and Bobby and Tommy and Donnie," which were names of the show's fans who had been sent in through fan mail to the show. The second most successful franchise show was Bozo the Clown. The Bozo franchise focused more on entertainment and a wider range of ages for the child audience than Romper Room. Each station produced their own version of Bozo the Clown, ranging from real-life circus acts to low-budget children's games with live audience. Locally produced children's shows began to fade in the 1960s, but the use of PSI and PSR continued in new ways. Educational shows for children continued to be a place where PSIs were directly incorporated into the show, often as a teaching technique. Starting with the very first episode, Sesame Street uses PSIs in a variety of ways to bring the child viewing audience into the show to enhance learning. One way this is done is through asking the viewer to play a game along with the on-screen character. As we see here, one way, in the first episode, Susan performs in a sketch in which she shows the audience a display of 4 items on it, 3 images of the number 2 and 1 of the letter W. The audience is asked to identify which object doesn't belong with the rest of the group, as Susan sings one of your probably favorite songs from Sesame Street, "One of These Things." All types of characters engage with children audiences, including humans, Muppets, puppets, and animations. Pro-social interactions took a new step in the 1990s, beginning with the success of Blue's Clues, which launched in September of 1996. Todd Kessler, one of the show's creators, submits, "We want to integrate the viewer as one of the protagonists, and that's exactly what makes Blue's Clues a unique trendsetter. We've seen uses of PSIs in other educational shows, but never before has viewer as protagonist and PSI been at the core of the narrative development." This was a critical element to the success of Blue's Clues and set the stage for the development of other shows that also relied on PSI and the viewer as protagonists, including Dora the Explorer, Go Diego Go, and later Super Y and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Finally, it's important to note that even now, children's programs are hosted by television characters and persona both in the United States and abroad. Show hosts, also known as presenters, speak directly to the camera similar to the newscaster. For example, many of the nature shows in contemporary educational and informational shows on U.S. broadcast stations feature a real-life human host to introduce new animals, settings, or scientific information, such as ABC's Outback Adventures with Tim Faulkner or NBC's The Voyager with Josh Garcia.